There are many faces to love, but the worst face is when the worst comes to the pass. There's no doubt that too much of love leads to a lack of respect and loyalty on both sides. As we get started with today's story, I want to ask you to click on the bell icon and subscribe to our channel so we bring you more cheating stories in the future. Stressed, broken, disappointed, almost dead, these are all feelings I'm experiencing right now as I sit alone on the floor and relive all my nightmares of the past. Because of the fact that I have lost everything, I had no idea what to do now. Recently, I threw my life out of my house, who was the love of my life and the soul of my life. However, because of her petty crimes, she made me do this. As an example, let us say that the name of my soon-to-be ex-wife was Aniston, 29 years old, while my name was Danny, 34 years old. Our first meeting took place in a restaurant where Aniston works as a housekeeper. As a supervisor, I used to work for a food supplement manufacturing company that had a very wide scope of business. It was the first time I met her that I felt a spark. Then, because I was in love with her, I took the initiative to initiate contact with her. Her gestures were nice and she was a sweet girl. As far as I am concerned, she was the most attractive to me. Prior to her, I had 2 girlfriends, but she was something different from both of them. It was through her restaurant that I first met her because it was on my way to my house, so I always had dinner there on my way home. As a result, it was the only reason why I had the chance to meet her. After a few meetings, we were able to meet each other a bit better as a result of our friendship over the past few months. In the end, both of us admitted that we were in love with each other. As a result, I encouraged her to move into my place so that there would be more time available for us to spend together. In the meantime, we were getting more serious about each other, and after 2 years of dating, I got married to her after a marvelous relationship. There was a very special attraction between her and me, and whenever I happened to see her, I would fall in love with her. As I had imagined, our honeymoon was just as spectacular. I consider her a blessing in my life. In spite of the fact that Aniston wanted to continue her job, I was home insisted that she quit since I don't want her to work as a housekeeper. She's been quite obedient to my wishes, so I was very happy because of her decision. Having my wife work there made me feel as if she was being disrespected. Then I talked to a friend of mine named James, who also owned a restaurant at the time, and he told me that he needs to hire a new manager until next month at the latest. As soon as I told him about Aniston, I was able to get her a job there as a manager. I was now satisfied with the outcome. I was afraid that she would not be able to work as a manager because it would take a lot of time for her, but I was pleased to see that she was doing well at her job. The friend of mine made sure that his staff would assist her in workplace as much as possible so that she would be able to perform her duties effectively and manage everything efficiently. It was because of his cooperation that I was satisfied with it. I believe that my mistake was that I trusted him a lot too much, but I think I was just blinded by faith in him. It was as soon as she came into my life that my luck changed. In less than 4 months after I had married her, I received a promotion in the company along with a lot of perks and benefits. Due to the fact that my job has changed as a result, it was my duty to visit different states and make reports about the performance and progress of our products for the reason that I had to disappear from my house for a long period of time. As far as I could tell, everything was going well. Working on my new post has been a great experience so far. The fact is that I was a travel freak, so it was a good opportunity for me to travel around different states. I had everything that a man could ask for in his life at this point. I have a perfect job that pays well, I have a gorgeous wife who is loving and caring, and everything else is perfect. My first visit was to Austria. I just spent a very nice week with my Aniston before I left for my visit. It was a very romantic night for us. and we both had a lot of fun. In the course of my trip to Austria, as much as I could, I always tried to talk to her and get in touch with her. It was sometimes a pleasure to talk with her, but other times she got busy with her work. I had a real problem here when I called her once and she did not pick up my call. After a few calls, I stopped calling her and I thought maybe she was busy since it was Sunday. The more worried I became, the more I wanted to know about her. Hence, I called Harry, who was a good fellow of mine, who was also my neighbor. It was at this point that I asked him about Enston. As he was watering the garden half an hour ago, he seen she had come home and he thought there may have been some guests there. Having said that, I thanked him for his help and said okay. A couple of hours later, she called me back and said she was at the house of neighbor. It was then that I asked her who neighbor was. I said Harry told me that some guests came home after I called him. She suddenly sounded nervous in her voice, and I could feel it in the way she responded. Then I asked her why she was telling me that she was at a neighbor's house. She said when I went back from the Nichols' house, she said to me, "Oh honey, yes, James had come home with his girlfriend after we left the Nichols' house." There was a house 1 house away from us where Nicole lived. I was asked by her why I was acting like a police investigator in front of her. "Could you please let me know if everything is okay with you?" My response to her was a simple yes. I was just concerned about how are you doing. However, on that day, when I was talking to her, my heart wasn't in the place as it had been before. It turned out to be a red flag. She told that James had come home. Considering the fact that he was her boss, there was a possibility that they would have to discuss anything. I decided not to pay attention to that matter. One night I was having dinner late at night, a hectic day, and I did not have a chance to eat because it was so busy that day. So I remember it was about 11:47 a.m. when I got a text message from Enston with a dirty picture and a dirty caption. I saw the message on the notification bar when I opened my WhatsApp messenger. She quickly deleted it from the picture when I saw it. My message to her was that I was having dinner and once I reached my room, I would be able to video call you. She did not respond to me after a period of 3 to 4 minutes. She replied, "Oh yes honey, of course, take your time." It was fine when she answered, but when she deleted the picture, it seemed strange to me. I felt as if she accidentally sent me that picture. After finishing my dinner, I hurried to my room, where I went to sleep, but it was also thinking about her. When I opened my cell phone, I got a message from her telling me that she had to get up early for work tomorrow morning, so she fell asleep on the couch. My first reaction was that she was very high that time, but now she seems to be calming down a bit. I knew about her nature a long time ago until I had not touched her yet, and I have not even got intimate with her either. She has not slept or something in the past, but now her actions have made me suspicious. That night I had to write a report and send it to my boss. Due to this, I had to work until late at night. After working until 2:30 in the morning, I opened WhatsApp and was surprised to see that Anston was online. I thought I should call her, but when I looked at the screen while calling her, I saw that she was busy on another call. Moreover, at the time when she was being talked to by home, it was another red flag that popped up. As far as her was concerned, I wasn't feeling well at all. After I had called her for the following day, I asked her who she was talking to at that time of the night. It was a friend of hers, she said. After thinking for a couple of days about what was happening, I thought it would be a good idea to keep an eye on her. I then called Harry, who was also one of my good friends. I had a casual conversation with him, and he was a lawyer. I told him to keep an eye on her and let me know if there was an unusual activity going on. As a result, he agreed and he started to observe her closely. There was only about 2 weeks left for me to complete my trip. I was contacted by him and he informed me that there was nothing suspicious going on at that moment. During the course of 3 weeks, he kept an eye on her. My sincere thanks go out to him for informing me. I was now entirely satisfied since I thought that I might have been thinking too much at that time, or all those things could have been coincidences at that time. Anyway, it was the last week of my trip and I went to get some gifts and to get some clothes for Aniston. I came home that evening and I met her after a long period of time. It was obvious that she was happy a lot, but I was feeling like my heart was weak for her love now, and I did not know why. On that night, we fell in love a great deal. It was after 2 weeks that I took a leave of absence from my job in order to rest. It was a regular occurrence for us to have romance and hang out together. After a long period of time, I had the opportunity to spend some quality time with Aniston. After a few days, Aniston got unconscious while working in her restaurant. Her restaurant staff got out to the doctor and they informed me that she was pregnant, and they congratulated me upon my arrival. As far as I am concerned, that was the best ever moment of my life. It was ecstatic about it. I was very excited about our baby and I couldn't wait to see him. Even though I did not know how Aniston felt about the news, I felt like he wasn't happy about it. Whenever I talked about the future plans with her, she had an unexpected or very light reaction to it. In order for Aniston to be able to take care of herself for her baby, I told her to quit her job. However, she stated that she would be willing to work until the end of the period of 7th month. After it, she would be quiet for a while. According to what she requested, I agreed. I have now taken over the responsibility of taking care of her. I took on the responsibility of taking care of all the household affairs. During one of those days, I was just getting ready to clean my room as Aniston was going to a restaurant. There was a bin in the room. I picked it up and put it all in the back trash bin in the backyard. There was something strange that I observed when I was throwing everything away. I found it that it was used condom that had a hole in it when I looked closely at it. In my opinion, I found it extremely strange since I had no recollection of when I used it, and why don't I remember when I used it? In my opinion, that was the moment in my knowledge when a strange doubt became a part of me. Putting that thing into a plastic bag is what I did. After thinking about it for a while, I decided to talk to Aniston about it. When Aniston arrived in the evening, I showed her that bag and asked her what it was. In her expression, it was obvious that she had been caught in the act of committing the crime. In a state of shock, she watched it for 2 or 3 minutes without speaking. As she recalled, before you arrived from Austria one night, she had arranged a small dinner party. A few of her colleagues, as well as James and his girlfriend, came over, and James and his girlfriend went to the bedroom together. It was certain to her that it had been used by them. I was told by her that she had gone to bed because she was feeling so much sleepy and she was so exhausted. Both of my brain and my heart were telling me that there was something wrong with her. When I thought about it, I heard the sound of pumps in my head. Following that, I went to Harry's house. It might be something he knows about. My question was to him. In fact, he said that to me. It may be true that she has arranged a dinner for some people, since a few guests came here before your arrival. He saw them coming in night. He gave a somewhat satisfactory answer to my question. As I was looking for something in my cupboard, I found a diary. When I opened it, I found that it was Aniston's diary, in which she kept track of her menstrual cycle. This had been her habit since her early days. The last ovulation cycle of hers seemed extremely strange to me when I looked at it. It appears that she ovulated 5 days prior to my arrival, according to the information it gave me. Basically, based on that information, whenever I had got intimate with her, she was not ovulating. In the wake of learning that, I began to wonder how she could possibly have obtained pregnancies from me if it was the case. It makes me so suspicious when I read this. In my research on the internet, I found that it was indeed the case. It was at this point that I went to the doctor and discussed the whole scenario with him. It was my request to him to do this test without informing her of the fact that it was my baby or not. Although he agreed, I still had to wait until the next appointment to have a checkup, since if I forced her to have one, she might be alerted or something if she went through with it. After 11 days of the wait, the day arrived. On the 12th day, I took her to the doctor, and he did the test for her. Since she was not aware about all these medical checkups, she did not get a clue about what was going on. I was told by the doctor that I would have to wait for the reports for 2 days. During 2 days that I waited, I was unable to eat or sleep because it wasn't as simple as it appears on the outside. After 2 days, I received the reports, which revealed that it wasn't my baby. My mind is blown by those reports to the point of insanity. And I was at my workplace when I received those reports. My life was destroyed in a blink of an eye, but the fact is that I was mentally prepared for it because of the circumstances. But it still hurts to think about it. My return to my home that day is going to be very early. After waiting for her until the evening, I finally found her. After she came in, I told her to sit on the couch because I had something to show her. She said that she was tired and going to bed as usual, but I grabbed her arm and handed her the reports. As far as she knew, she had no idea what it was. I then informed her that I took her for a checkup, but the real purpose was to determine if the baby was mine or not. As a result, I discovered that the baby is not mine. This was the moment when her sin became apparent to her. As a result, she confessed to me in front of me that she had committed a crime with James in my absence. I was shocked because I was not expecting that my friend would betray me, so this shook me to my very core. I grabbed her arm in anger in the middle of the night and got her out of the house. Currently, I am in a very broken state of mind. I cannot even face anyone because of what happened to me. As a result, I also decided to sue James. However, it was pointless since my wife was not loyal to me. So, how was he supposed to be?